This Victory Summit event is focused on mental health and wellness. I'm Polly Dawkins, the Executive Director of the Davis Phinney Foundation. Thank you for being here. All righty, I am getting ready to introduce our first speakers. Davis Phinney and Connie Carpenter Phinney are athletes, are entrepreneurs, are advocates, they're authors, they're parents, they're people living with Parkinson's and care partners. And one of the things that I have learned from Davis and working with Davis and Connie over the years as co-founders of the Davis Phinney Foundation is that they are just lifelong advocates for well-being for our community, the Parkinson's community, and beyond. And that has been really the impetus for the existence of the Davis Phinney Foundation, which they founded 17 years ago. So welcome, Davis and Connie, and I'm going to turn this over to the two of you.
Thank you, Polly. I'm Davis, and this is my lovely wife, Connie.
It is. We're really happy to be here and just so appreciative of everybody who's taking the time on this Friday to just kind of get a health and wellness check, I think that's why we're here.
Yes.
And we can all use that. So, man, we're happy to have you here. And I can't believe that over half of you, this is your first time being exposed to a Victory Summit. So I'm gonna also maybe assume that this is the first time half of you have been exposed to us. And we're married. We've been married. Our anniversary is coming up. We've been married, 37, 38 years now. And you know what, half that time now we've been living with Parkinson's disease in our relationship, a very unwanted, but we're very accustomed to this guest in our relationship. And so we want to welcome you to the two of us. We do speak with some humor, so give us a little break if the humor falls flat and we can't hear you laughing out there. So we'll do our best to keep it light.
You're laughing.
That you're following us. But we're really happy to kick this event off, and it's so important, especially as we wrap up summer and come into this fall, where once again we find ourselves here in Boulder, Colorado, where we live, with a renewed mask mandate in order to protect ourselves from COVID. And, it's just, it feels like tough times, right? It's not an easy time to be navigating Parkinson's with the global pandemic, but we're doing it quite well. And Davis and I have actually said too, that I think some of the key traits that you've learned to, personify through Parkinson's have really helped with dealing with this pandemic as well. And so I think, we just want to say thanks for being here. And I don't know if you have something you want to say right away, but otherwise I'm going to get us going.
You've got a good role going, so I don't want to stop that.
I got a good roll going. He knows what to say. Anyway, hey, listen, I want everybody to just kind of sit with me for a second. We're going to do just a little breathing kind of visualization exercise to bring us into the here and now of the moment that we're in.
Because again, we are from Boulder, so you've got to expect a little bit of
a Boulder. I think visualization is a big part of what we're up to today with mental health and wellness, because what we really want to do is visualize a positive outcome, throughout the day, throughout this morning of learning and thought, to not focus on the negative, but really focus on the positive. So let's do that together. We're in it together. We're here together right now in this moment. And we're bending time and space a little bit to actually, be together. And even those that will be listening later will be part of this togetherness. So what I really want to ask you to do now is, if you can, put both your feet on the ground, maybe soften your gaze. You don't have to be looking at us through this next few minutes, but maybe close your eyes and let's just all take a nice inspiration through our nose. Let's breathe in through our nose. Hold it for a second and then just let it out and really feel your shoulders drop. Feel yourself kind of come into this present moment where we're all here together. We're taking this time together. And let's breathe again. Nice inhale. All together. And then let it out. And when we let it out, let's imagine on the next inhale, again, keeping your eyes closed, let's imagine that we've all been airdropped into the Colorado wilderness. There's 3.5 million acres of wilderness in Colorado. So I want to imagine that we've all been airdropped into the same beautiful valley. Let's take another breath in with that imagery that we're all together in this vast wilderness. We've found each other. Nice inspiration. And let it out. I'm envisioning a mountain lake, some beautiful mountains in the background, a nicely packed lunch. And the aspens. Yeah, what are the aspens doing? It's coming on middle of September. They're turning golden. In Colorado, we don't get all the full colors that some of you get, but we get a lot of golden in the hills mixed in with the evergreens.
And you can hear the leaves.
You can hear, they say the aspens quake. They rustle together. So just be in this moment together and think about what that means, that we've come together. We're not isolated. We're out in a vast wilderness, and it's actually beautiful here. We're in a beautiful place. And I just want to emphasize that we're here together. We're here together. And we do need a little help. So we're going to ask for help to find our way out, to find our way to another view, to another place, and just take that time together to do that. And so please take another breath in and imagine yourself in the most beautiful place with beautiful people, and we're all helping each other. And now let's let it out. Open your eyes. Oh, and just be here, right? We're all here together in this place, searching for answers. We might not even be that eager for a way out because it's so beautiful here. And that's part of shifting your mindset. That's part of what we like to do, shift our mindset. And Davis and I like every day, we're actually pretty simple in our needs and desires. And one of them is just to have a moment of awe.
Yeah.
And so if we look outside, Davis never moves faster than when he's moving outside to take a photo of a beautiful sunset.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And, we just don't want to miss those moments. And so this is a day of reflection on moments, and we talk a lot about that with moments of victory for Davis. And he's going to give us a little message on that right now. But the first thing I wanted to ask him is, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Oh, and he knows fine is not an okay answer.
Yeah.
Don't you hate that when people say fine? How fine could you be? You're not fine. What are you? You're better than fine.
I'm great. Yeah.
You're good and you're great. Or you know what? If you're not great, it's okay to say that too.
Yes.
But I think today is great because we know we have several hundred of you listening and learning and sharing and being together. And we know that'll trickle out too, to other people and other places. And we encourage you to share, and we encourage you to look for resources in your own communities as well. But this whole concept of fine is really bothersome sometimes because too often people ask us, how are you? And you say, fine. And you're really not fine. Not that many of us are fine during this pandemic. So it's okay to say, not so good. Or today was great, and maybe explain why. But lately, Davis has been having some great moments, and I asked him to, let's talk a little bit about that, like some of your discoveries in the last few weeks, I would say, with your friend Kevin, who also has Parkinson's. Hey, Kevin, if you're out there.
Kevin and I have both joined a very nearby to us health club, and we've created this whole essence of playfulness, which is a childlike quality that seems pretty far away if you have Parkinson's.
Yeah, let's say that again. So a childlike quality that feels pretty far away when you have Parkinson's, right? I mean, I think, we've been living with it for a long time. We're not youngsters, but these guys have kind of reinvented play in the health club.
Yeah. So we set up all these various stations with lots of implements that challenge our balance and our strength, as well as
cognition too.
Cognition, yeah. Because when we're each standing on a half ball, trying to retain our balance while throwing a medicine ball to each other, and then naming musical bands that begin with M or B or D, that's a challenge, believe me.
And that's some of those you guys used to do when you were going to Rock Steady Boxing. I think Kevin still goes there. And so that's the thing, is like challenge your body and your mind at the same time. And, I bet you do a lot of laughing in there too.
And speaking everything out loud.
Yeah.
So that we're using our voice with that too. But yeah, I mean, I've found that those are some surely moments of joy, especially when I can actually come up with a band name or else not lose my balance.
Not lose your balance.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
So I think that, the message really with that too is just, is to mix it up, right? To seek companionship when you're out.
Yeah.
I think that's been really helpful, because isolation is really one of our enemies as we age, and especially with Parkinson's. And so to reach out and find community, and it was really tough, I think, during the pandemic when, you couldn't go to some of the classes that you were used to going to. And, we all got a little bit used to Zoom, but to be able to resume things safely, and you guys are doing that indoors now with a mask, but that's fine, because guess what? You're still together, and you're still able to do what you want to do. And so it's a question of staying safe and still working toward the future, because any work that you and Kevin are doing in the gym is, preserving your health and improving on your health.
Well, right. And also our number one mantra is no injuries.
No injuries. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good one. And some of you may need to go to, to go to the doctor, maybe get with a PT first and find out what you can do or what maybe you shouldn't do or what you really need to work on. And so we'd really like to encourage you to do that too, and keep your circle of care active and keep yourself active. And of course, that's a big mantra of ours.
Yeah. And also to be creative with your form of exercise.
Yeah, because any PT will say the best form of exercise is the one that you'll do.
Yes. Well, the one that you'll do. And so, but if you can expand on that one exercise, so you're not just in too much of a rut of doing the same thing, but challenging other aspects of your body and mind, that'll be very helpful for your Parkinson's.
Yeah, and avoid being frustrated. Remember too, some of you, we're all in this journey at different places. And so some of you are in a newly diagnosed category. Some of you have been living with Parkinson's for quite a while. Some of you are doing very well, managing well. Some of you are frustrated. So I want you to remember always that, Parkinson's is this kind of tripartite of mood, physical symptoms, and cognitive symptoms, right? So it's not what most people assume from the outside if they see a tremor, that that's the extent of your Parkinson's. And of course, not all who have Parkinson's even have a tremor. And so in keeping all that in mind, it's like those three areas need work, whether it's mood, whether it's cognition, and whether it's those physical symptoms, and they're all intertwined with the medicines that you take. And so the important thing is to really, work in concert with your doctors and your caregivers to try to find, dial it in. And it's an ongoing process, we've found.
Yeah, very much
Yeah,
so.
not every day is the same. If it was, that would be a little easier. Although it does give you hope for even those better moments, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, and as you speak about mood, it reminds me of our conversation with our great friend, the poet Wayne Gilbert,
who's probably also listening. Hi, Wayne.
Whose wife Alice challenged him to every morning and every evening before he goes to bed to come up with 4 things that he was grateful for throughout the day and what he's looking forward to in the morning. And at first he was sort of put out by that, but then
flummoxed, maybe.
Then he realized that he was actually looking for moments to be grateful for and noticing things that he wasn't noticing before. And so that, I would say, was equating to an every victory counts type moment.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so, we talk about this, whole concept of joy and happiness and how to cultivate that in your life as well, because it's not, that's what all of us humans need to do. It's not just people with Parkinson's. We need to cultivate our optimism. We need to cultivate our gratitude. And what better way than to actually write it down and then speak it, tell people, share what you're grateful for. And sometimes it's a list of people's names. Sometimes it's events that have occurred in the day, or sometimes it's a global event that's happening that you're like, oh, thank goodness, that everybody's okay, or whatever, from a natural disaster. There's all kinds of things to be grateful for, near and far. And so we would like to challenge you to start cultivating that for yourself. Along with a few other things. So the concept of cultivating, happiness and improving our mood also goes to kind of bringing some humor in. And as we approach the end of our 20 minutes here, one of the things Davis and I like to do, because, one of the really, really difficult parts of Parkinson's is facial masking. And we all, as humans, rely on each other's facial expressions to read into what people are understanding or what they're thinking about us, and a lot of times with a flat affect that Parkinson's can cause, people are misinterpreting you all the time, and or you're just a little bit slower, so you're not quite on the joke line, or you're not able to quip as much, right? So Davis and I,
well, and this is an actual facial mask, not a COVID mask.
Oh, yes, good point. Oh, double masking. Oh, goodness. Yes. And if you're not familiar with facial masking, we also, our daughter actually did a pretty good series on that with an expert on facial masking. So that's the point when your face is just more blank. And it was actually quite interesting for Kelsey to do this, because I always say that, if you have Parkinson's and you have teenage children, and they're trying to provoke you and your face is kind of blank, it's really irritating to the child. But it's actually sort of a line of defense for any parent, is not to be too reactive. But in any case, I digress. What we like to do is work on our facial muscles sometime.
Which brings in some humor.
Because we normally do it in the bathroom mirror, but we want to invite you to do it with us. And because we actually have the screen in front of us, we can pretend we're in the mirror by ourselves being silly. but it allows us to open up our face, and especially for Davis to
that feels good. I mean, you actually get an endorphin buzz from
you
it.
get a little buzz from just being goofy and just opening up those tight facial muscles, right? And
Yeah.
especially if you don't get to see a lot of people during the day and you're not interacting as much. So let's all just do that for just a couple more seconds. and just appreciate the fact that we can laugh a little bit together.